Hey guys, how are you? There's a video right now making the rounds on social media. It's really gained a lot of traction. It's a 45-second clip, and it's Robbie Williams. He was on a podcast called Weaponized, and I'm just gonna read through most of this. I'm gonna go through what he says verbatim because this has really picked up a lot of steam in the past few hours. He said, we're in a post-truth world where you can't believe the media, you can't believe Big Pharma, you can't believe politicians, you can't believe what you're eating, you can't believe yourself. And saying that basically this could be the time right now that, the empire, so to speak, it could fall. And then he's saying, of course, these things are going to arise because we can't trust anybody or anything. And he also just said he just believes and invests in his wife, his kids, his family. And he finished off with saying, "Yeah, I believe in them." Reminded me when he said it like that. It kind of reminded me of the song John Lennon, the John Lennon did called "God," and he's going off all through the things that he doesn't believe. I don't believe in Kennedy. I don't believe in Zimmerman. I don't believe in Elvis. I don't believe in magic. And the very last one he says he doesn't believe in. I don't believe in Beatles. Yeah, that was the real one. That was real, pretty powerful right there, in saying how he just believed in himself and Yoko, and that's reality. But yeah, incredible. I mean, he really, what people are saying is, he gets it, and very well said. I mean, this is a guy. One of the best selling recording artists. And a guy that I do respect. I have a fair bit of respect for, and I think he does have character. A guy that when he was 21 and he says that he was more or less Gary Barlow's backing dancer and take that. All his bandmates essentially kicked him to the curb. But for him to come back 2 years later and then had the big, huge solo success that he had, it was obviously the hit Angels. Um, that just shows a lot of will and perseverance and character. So I admire that from him. But this statement, what can you say? Obviously, can we really believe the media right now? Of course not. Can we really believe in pharma? Hell no. Politicians, of course not. And then obviously with the stuff that we're eating, with the stuff about not showing what the ingredients will get on the labels and stuff. It's this, and obviously with the whole thing about saying about the empire falling, and then we've got about this whole great reset they want in 2030 with the front of that is Klaus, Bond villain, you'll own nothing and be happy Schwab. So this is some tough times, some tough challenging times that we're living in right now, and it just very well said. And he had a bit of, I felt it reminded me of John Lennon. When there's a clip online of John Lennon, I'm sure you'll find it. But his quote was, "Our society is run by insane people for insane objectives. I think we're being run by maniacs for maniacal ends, and I think I'm liable to be put away as insane for expressing that. That's what's insane about it." So is like Robbie Williams kind of like the John Lennon of his time? Going up against the establishment. Maybe he's got a bit of that in him. And I remember I did see an interview that he did with it was the journalist Anna Breeze, and she's someone that has really been maligned and mischaracterized. And it was real fairly it was short, fairly short interview, but it was a decent interview to watch. I think at that time it was just when COVID, just a few months after COVID hit. But in that interview, he more or less was saying how I could tell that he felt that he did have to be careful about, he couldn't go too far with this. And I think even when he's saying these things, Robbie Williams in this post-truth world speech, and when John Lennon said his things back even in like 72, 73, they're are they fully going all the way with it? I don't know, because I think if they start to really, really, really fully expose things, then they've got to watch, because really, and I'm not being over dramatic when I say this, their lives could potentially be in danger. And in that interview that he did with Anna Breeze, he was basically he was trying to make it clear that, hey, I don't really want to be um like having an army here, going to war, so to speak. But because I think he realized that, hey, if he was to really speak out all these things that was going on with the plan, the scamdemic, they were going to come for him. He was very much aware that he could very well have got cancelled. But he has a real interest in these things. When it comes to conspiracy theories, and the mainstream might try and mock him for his interest in UFOs. But hey, to each their own. And he does seem quite a real interest. He's an interesting guy to me. I mean, he's a guy that and when you a lot of the songs, his solo stuff, and take that, there's quite a lot of his lyrics are quite deep and introspective. But yeah, I mean, this speech, post-truth world, absolutely. And I think when all said and done, we have to have our priorities straight. And he, saying he just believes and invests in his wife, his kids, his family. He seems to have his priorities straight. So hats off to him.